Hi guys, my name is Raven and this is my Indian peafowl student presentation. So I did my project on the Indian peafowl. They are from the kingdom Animalia, the phylum Chordata, the class Aves, the order Galliformes, the family Phasianidae, the genus Pavo, and the species Pavo cristatus. So peafowl life, they're originally natives to India, Sri Lanka, and South Asia. They have been introduced though to other places like the zoos. You will see in a video of that in the next slide. But in this image, it just gives you kind of a map of where they live, where they're from usually. And so here is a video from the Point Defiance Zoo of a peacock just walking around. And you can see that it's not bothered by people. I did look up if it's ever attacked anybody. I just thought that would be funny to know. And apparently some guy got attacked. So sorry about that guy, but when I was there, it kind of was walking away, but everyone was pretty good about trying to give it its space, not getting too close to it, because you never know what's going to happen with a wild animal. But here's a video.
Okay, let's go.
Just walking around.
I never seen peacock here.
Okay, very short, but that was
Okay,
it.
let's go.
Okay, so where do peafowl live? They live in deciduous forests, they live in scrublands, and semi-desert grasslands. So what a deciduous forest is it's a cool and rainy place. They're known for having broad-leaved trees, which they fall off every season. They're usually along stream banks or around bodies of water. That's probably what keeps it a moist area. And so scrublands are places like that have scrub vegetation or bush, and then semi-desert grasslands. And then, yes, so on the bottom left picture, I have a peacock roosting in a tree. It just hangs out in a tree. I read that it just hangs out in trees. It's called roosting. And yeah. So usually, I know for me, when I would see a peacock, I would think of a peacock being what they're all called. I call them peacocks. But what I've learned through this project is they're actually called peafowl. But the males are peacocks and the females are peahens. And together they're peafowls. So if you just see some, well, I guess then that would mean if you've seen one in person with the big old feathers, it would be a peacock because it's a male. And so as you can see in this picture, on the left is a peacock, the male, because it has the big pretty feathers that everybody loves to see. And the picture on the right is the female peahen, and it's more brown and white in color. I read that the peacock, its feathers actually, they come off, and people will even sell them. They'll keep them. It doesn't harm them when they fall off. So yeah, that's one relation with humans and peacocks. And they are among the largest birds that fly. So diet. Kind of see my picture's a little bit in the way. So they're omnivorous, and that means they feed on plants and animals. They'll eat nuts, things like tree nuts, peanuts, What else? Sunflower seeds. They'll eat small mammals. They'll eat insects. They'll eat fruits, and they'll eat reptiles and amphibians. And this is more when they are in the wild, in their natural habitat. But when their ecological roles change when they are in more of a non-natural setting. Their diets are adjusted. They are well-adjusted animals. They are able to change their diet. Although they are found mainly in the Indian subcontinent, they can adapt to live in cultivated regions and around human habitations. And their diet changes, and it consists of crops, groundnut, tomato, chili, and even bananas. And you can see that's way different than when they're just in the wild on their own. So they're pretty adaptive. And so I found this special species relationship that I thought was interesting, and it's called the intestinal flora. And it's not only found in peacocks, it's also found in human, but it's a microorganism that includes bacteria, archaea, and fungi living in the digestive tract. And what it does is it helps digest food. And yeah, it's found in not only peacocks, but also in humans. So humans and peacocks, we've kind of talked about how they can adjust well. They have been domesticated over 4,000 years ago. China were among the first people. And around 3,000 years ago, Phoenicians brought them to Egypt and later the Mediterranean area. And something I read that I found interesting was that Solomon, he's from the Bible, was known to have a peacock. So I thought that was really interesting. But unfortunately, they were also seen as a delicacy in these cultures and centuries. They were mainly raised by the Romans for ornamental and table purposes. Just like we think now they're beautiful birds, they were beautiful birds back then. Here's some older art. And so domestication today. Farmers keep them at their farms. That's kind of where their adjusted diets come from. It's best in a rural setting with lots of roaming space. You do want to have a covering in your farm though, because if the weather is rainy or snowy, they need to have a place where they can take shelter. And so one of the rules for that is make sure that they're able to make a turn with their big old wings without running into anything. So that's kind of a rule of thumb that I read about. They're not very trainable, if at all. Oopsie. Sorry about that. Let me get back to here. Okay. And like we talked about or showed a video earlier, they are in zoos, just walking around, and they are kept as pets. And I like this cool picture over here because it said some things to consider when keeping a peacock. Think about housing. Do you have enough room for them? Think about their diet. Are you bringing in those adjusted foods? Health, legality. Not everywhere is legal to have a peacock. I'm not sure about the rules in Yakima, but they make loud noises. I read it. They make loud noises. And especially when it comes to mating season, they're making extra loud noises. So that, although if it's your pet, you might not mind the sounds, but if it's your neighbors, they're going to probably be bothered by that. So yeah, and then safety. safe for you, for the peacock, and then male or female. What I read is you don't usually want to have more than one male at a time. You do want to have more than one peacock because they thrive together. They can be with other fowls like chickens and stuff, but they really thrive when they're together. So yes, have more than one, but you really only want one male because they are territorial, and the females are less aggressive. So keep that in mind if you're considering a peacock as a pet. It would be pretty cool at a farm, I would think. But yeah, that is the end of my presentation. So I hope that you guys learned something and found it interesting like I did. Thanks, guys.